Darth Vader. Even the name conjures up visions of treachery. In person, the man behind the costume, Tom Callahan, isn't quite so evil. Callahan is one of 3 stuntmen who played Vader in the original Star Wars.
We all know David Prowse played the man behind the mask, Darth Vader, in the Star Wars films. However, for many of us that grew up on the original Star Wars films, not only did we get to see Darth Vader on film, we got to see Darth Vader at our local grocery store, car dealership, or some new store coming to town. But who was this man behind the mask that did public appearances? We know for sure it wasn't David Prowse, but who was it? And did he have any ties with 20th Century Fox and Lucasfilm, or was he just some guy on the weekend trying to make an extra dollar? Well, in most cases, the man behind the mask was Hollywood stuntman Thomas L. Callahan. But who is Thomas L. Callahan? Well, according to him, he was a professional Hollywood stuntman who was one of the stuntmen to play Darth Vader in the films. Callahan was surely the right size. He stood 6 feet tall and 11 inches and stood a little over 7 foot tall when he put on the Darth Vader costume. However, while researching this video, I could find no information at all that a Thomas Callahan or even a Tom Callahan worked for Star Wars. I headed over to the Internet Movie Database just to check the cast and crew credits for Star Wars A New Hope. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I'll find his name there. But no one at all working on Star Wars had the last name Callahan. Now, a lot of these early interviews, he promotes Empire Strikes Back. So maybe he was hired as the stuntman for Darth Vader for Empire Strikes Back. After all, it needed a lot more stunt work. So, quickly headed back to the Internet Movie Database to check the credits for The Empire Strikes Back. Again, no Callahan at all listed anywhere in the credits. In one interview with Thomas Callahan, he did talk about how he was a stuntman also for the Burt Reynolds 1978 film, Hooper. So again, I headed back to the Internet Movie Database to check the cast and crew of Hooper. What did I find? A lot of stuntmen for that movie, but none of them was named Callahan. In fact, I searched the entire Internet Movie Database for any stuntman with the last name Callahan and found nothing. So who was this man behind the mask, Thomas L. Callahan? If he wasn't a Hollywood stuntman and never worked on the Star Wars films as he claimed, how did he become the public face of Darth Vader? He would always make appearances at local grocery stores, car dealerships, wherever he could to talk with fans about Star Wars, answer your questions, and take photos with the young Star Wars fans. But did he work for Lucasfilm or 20th Century Fox? Well, let's go back to a 1983 article where Thomas Callahan himself talks about an incident he had at the Finger Lakes Mall. There, a local restaurant manager wanted to take a picture of his daughter standing next to Darth Vader. Callahan agreed, didn't think much of it, and went on meeting other fans. However, a few weeks later, the restaurant started placing Darth Vader on their placemats that read, "Darth Vader ate here." 20th Century Fox and Lucasfilm was not amused by this and sued the restaurant for $3.5 million. Is this story true? If so, it might lay claim that he worked for Lucasfilm and 20th Century Fox. First up, we do know Thomas Callahan did appear at the Finger Lakes Mall, like his story says, as Darth Vader. And thanks to the newspaper ad, we know he was there on August 15th and August 16th of 1980. According to the ad, he would be wearing his authentic Darth Vader costume. But does this prove that he worked for Lucasfilm or 20th Century Fox? Let's look closer at the ad, where it said he would be wearing his authentic Darth Vader costume. Now, this was the early 80s. Making a custom fan-made Darth Vader suit would take a lot of money and a lot of work. If this was an authentic costume that looked like the Darth Vader we've seen in the film, there was a good chance he was backed by 20th Century Fox or at least Lucasfilm. So let's take a look at that costume. Now, color photos of someone making a public appearance in the early 80s as Darth Vader are hard to find, but we do have some black and white ones to be credited as Thomas Callahan in the photos. And if you look at the Darth Vader costume, it's really not that good. At least not something from 20th Century Fox or Lucasfilm that would be used as a public appearance for Darth Vader.
Callahan travels around the country appearing as Vader and has many stories about what has happened at shows. including a time a child came up to him carrying a Darth Vader doll and said, "I hate you," just before he ripped the doll's head off. Callahan says that was an unusual case. Most of the time, children can relate to his character.
Lucasfilm and George Lucas was very picky how Star Wars would be seen by the public, especially at this time, soon after the release of A New Hope and before The Empire Strikes Back. I find it very hard to believe that George Lucas would want a very cheap-looking Darth Vader to show up at local grocery stores, car dealerships, and more. But this doesn't prove that he wasn't working for Lucasfilm or 20th Century Fox. To find that out, we're going to have to go to Los Angeles, California. According to records in the United States District Courts of Los Angeles, Lucasfilm and 20th Century Fox were not at all working with Thomas Callahan. On April 8, 1981, Judge Barron issued a injunction against Thomas Callahan, demanding that he stop dressing up and performing as Darth Vader. So it was clear this man, as he said, did not work for Lucasfilm or 20th Century Fox. And, being that his name doesn't appear anywhere in the films, it's very unlikely that he was a stuntman as Darth Vader, or even a stuntman at all in any of the Star Wars films. In fact, being that he can't find his name credited for any movie at all, it's unlikely that he was even a stuntman as he claimed. And when you look at his costume, it was nothing more than a cheap Darth Vader helmet that you could buy at almost any department store at that time. The rest of his costume, a plastic chest plate, and black pajamas with a black cape. But the injunctions from the courts didn't stop Thomas Callahan. He kept appearing all over the country at local places dressed up like Darth Vader, meeting fans and taking pictures. So 20th Century Fox and Lucasfilm went back to court and requested that Callahan be held in contempt. And they had mountains of evidence with photos of Callahan being seen all over the country and in California as Darth Vader. That filing was dismissed in March of 1984 because the courts couldn't find Mr. Callahan to serve him the order. He had stopped appearing as Darth Vader, but not only that, he stopped appearing as anyone, any place. No one knew where Mr. Callahan was or what happened to him. He seemed to have just vanished, or maybe went back to his galaxy far, far away.
Oh, they're like the bad guy in the cowboy movie.
On May 12, 1983, Darth Vader showed up at a local Pontiac dealership to meet fans, sign autographs, and take pictures. Was this the missing stuntman, Thomas Callahan? Not according to the signed agreement with the car dealership. But according to the agreement, this Darth Vader behind the mask was Terry Kelly. The contract states that Kelly would be paid $4,250 for his appearance at the local dealership. And who was Terry Kelly? According to a 1982 interview, he was a Hollywood stuntman that worked on a lot of Hollywood pictures, including Darth Vader in the Star Wars film. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Whoever this Terry Kelly was, Lucasfilm and 20th Century Fox wasn't happy. They filed an injunction in federal court in 1983 to stop Kelly from making personal appearances as Darth Vader. According to Lucasfilm's Roberta Cannery, Terry Kelly was really named Fred Anderson, and they said they don't believe he had any role at all in the Star Wars films. Soon after this, like Thomas Callahan, Terry Kelly disappeared. Also at this time, the hype for Star Wars was dying down. Return of the Jedi had already been released, and there were no future plans, at least anytime soon, for more Star Wars films. So, your local grocery store, your local hardware store, dealership, or whatever, didn't really feel the need to hire a Darth Vader lookalike. So we really don't know what happened to Thomas Callahan, Terry Kelly, or Fred Anderson. But I think it's made clear that he didn't work for 20th Century Fox or Lucasfilm. So the next time you're in line to see a new Star Wars movie, and you see someone dressed up like Darth Vader, shaking hands, taking pictures, signing autographs, who knows, it might be Hollywood stuntman Thomas Callahan. Hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please subscribe to my channel and hit thumbs up so I know you like this content, so I'll make more like this. And leave it in the comments below. Did you meet any of the Star Wars people at public appearances? I know I did. Till next time, thanks for watching. Come on, Fred, take us out of here.
Hey, Junkman channel popping though.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.